What does it mean to heal? There is a great misconception in the spiritual world of healing. When I'm talking to my clients on the first throes of their healing journey, and when I'm talking to people about healing, they always express to me, I feel like I'm taking 10 steps forward and 2 steps back. That I don't ever feel like I'm going to be healed. I don't ever feel like I'm ever going to get away from what it is I've been through, or I'm ever going to be the person I want to be. And that's because the misconception in healing is about building a character. It's about being certain someone. That your life is potentially going to be one where you're never going to face adversity, or at least allow adversity to get to you. You're never going to have a trigger again. That you're never going to experience down periods, or even experience periods that remind you of periods you've been through. And the misconception with healing is that it's a linear line, it's one straight line. That as soon as you've started working through things, you're going to get to a destination which is a place of full peace where nothing's going to get to you, nothing's going to bother you, you're never going to feel upset. The truth is, you're never going to eradicate the experiences that you've been through. And that might make you sad hearing that. You may believe that you want to be who you were prior to your breakdown, prior to your extreme mental health diagnosis, prior to whatever has occurred to you. But healing is more about self-awareness and understanding. It's more about understanding how your experiences have shaped you, how your experiences have impacted you. And it's about learning new ways to face them, new ways to understand them, new ways to connect to them. And initially this is going to feel painful as you start the transition of growth. As you start to work through the things that you have suppressed. But as you start to face the things that you've been through and start to work through the energy residue and start to work through creating new behaviours, that doesn't mean that anything you've been through is never going to occur again. It means that to a certain extent you've built a greater window of tolerance. It means to a certain extent you're more aware of what has impacted you. But it doesn't mean that you are never going to be facing it again. Healing is about understanding yourself enough to recognise when things are happening. It's about understanding yourself enough to recognise when you've been triggered, to recognise enough when you're in a situation that's unhealthy for you, to recognise enough when your mental health has taken a turn because you've not created enough self-care, or you've slipped into old habits. Your healing is not the eradication of the things you've been through. Your healing is about self-awareness and self-growth, but also embodiment. Allowing yourself to feel and validate what it is you've been through. And to continue to feel and validate your experiences as they're happening. Your healing is about recognizing when you have bad days, that those bad days are happening because you need to process something. Those bad days are not 10 steps back. It's another ability to be able to explore something that needs healing at a deeper level. If you was given everything to heal all at once, you wouldn't be able to cope with it. You wouldn't be able to deal with it. You wouldn't be able to heal it all at once because your perspective grows over time. Your perspective and thought pattern and belief systems change with healing and growth. So every time you continue to heal yourself and you see things from a different perspective, another layer of something you need to work on comes in. So this is why for years people will say, I just feel like I'm taking 10 steps back. No, you've grown enough that the universe is delivering something to you you now need to heal. And healing doesn't have to be doing something about it. It means you feel it. You sit with it. And then it means you find something of meaning to focus on so that you don't stay caught in it. Allowing yourself to feel and validate, and then you choose, whether it's that day or the next day or a day after, to do something that is soul enriching so that you're not bypassing it. You're merely experiencing it. When you're healing, to learn to experience things as the witness allows you to let things flow in and flow out. When you have an attachment to how you feel and you have expectations on how you feel, you will suffer because you will believe that you shouldn't feel that way. It's not okay to feel that way. Well, we now look at things such as yin and yang and know that both energies of masculine and feminine have to exist. Light and dark has to exist. The sun, the moon has to exist. So while we're trying to eradicate all our bad days because we only want to enjoy the good, we're missing all the opportunities of pausing, of reflecting, the opportunities of feeling. I want you to sit and reflect with that. When you feel like you're taking 10 steps back, I want you to reflect on the fact there is no such thing as 10 steps back in reality. And if, let's put it in this context, you are never going to be the person you were when you first went through it. And what I mean by that, if you climb a set of stairs and then you take 10 steps back, it doesn't undo the fact that you've already done those 10 steps. If you climb those 10 steps and you fall or you lose footing, you realise when you've come down from those 10 steps, I'm going to take a different direction. I won't use that way because that side of the staircase is a bit slippy. I'll use the other staircase. So you're never who you were prior to those 10 steps because you've had an experience that if you take a few moments to reflect on, will bring something to you. Now, if you keep going 10 steps falling, 10 steps falling, 10 steps falling, and you're not experiencing or learning or feeling anything, then yes, you will keep taking 10 steps back and falling. But if you allow yourself to acknowledge that every time you revisit a feeling, an emotion, or a situation, or a down period, it just has something greater to teach you. I know from experience, when I've allowed myself to feel and validate the times I feel down, the times I feel sad, I am better able to bounce back because a natural process has occurred. If you don't unblock a drain, it will fill and overfill. And if you only take the top layer out, it's still gonna overfill. It may take longer, but it'll overfill. You need to create a process of completion. And part of that process of completion is the process of allowing, accepting. People believe to accept means they're rolling over and just letting everything happen to them. There's a difference between acceptance of the here and now and knowing that I have to accept the here and now because nothing can change, but I can make small action to change my future. Then to say passive acceptance, which is I'm out, I can't take this, I can't deal with that. Reflect on what acceptance really means. You can't change the here and now. You can't change right this moment. There's no way you could change that. Because, well, you can choose to change your emotions, or you can choose, but you can't do that continually. You have to let things go as they are. You have to acknowledge and become aware. A healing journey is about self-awareness. It isn't about management per se. You're not here to learn to manage, you're here to learn to experience, to understand, to become aware, to let go of the things you need to let go of, to change the things you can, to feel the things you need to release the things you need to. You will greatly hinder your journey if you stay trapped in the thought pattern of how healing should look. We have all learnt to put expectations on things. Because with an expectation we have excitement, but expectation can also bring disappointment. Because very rarely does anything meet our expectation. Because the truth is, how do you know what to expect? Your mind wants to stay in control by creating an expectation or a belief system of how things should be, because it feels as if it's in control of something it doesn't know how to control. But by allowing yourself to release expectation and just to experience, you can start slowing down your life and accepting and experiencing, while also knowing you can make some small changes. And those changes can start with first compassion and love for yourself. Feeling the compassion for yourself when you feel angry that things should be different. You don't have to feel happy that the things aren't the way you want them to be. The more you sit in resistance, the more you have expectations, the more you will be angry. The more you realise that everything you resist and you fight, you're using up all your energy to resist and fight, which is not allowing you to have enough energy to heal and feel and process. I just want you to sit with that. Healing journeys are not what you think they are. And it's about connecting to the journey, not the destination.